chart 3 of lesson 1. And I'm going to go through this part rather quickly. I might just slow down a little bit on the end, but it covers the creation. And you're more than welcome to read this in Genesis 1. And we'll just keep reading because it's the beginning. So on the first day, God created light and darkness divided. On the second day, the firmament sky divided the water. On the third day, dry land, seeds, herbs, grass, trees. And after he created each one of these, he said it was good, and it was good, and it was good. The Lord was very pleased with the creation. And the fourth day, the moon, the sun, the stars, the days, the seasons, the years. The fifth day, the fish, the sea, the birds of the air. And then the sixth day, the animals and man. And on this day, he said, and it was very good. And I do want to point out that God's number for completion is 7. And God rested on this day. God's number for completion is 7. A week is complete in 7 days. And God's number for incomplete is 6. We were created on the incomplete day because we are incomplete without God. And on the 7th day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day. And that's Genesis 2 and 2. So like I said, I wanted to go over that quickly. I don't want to spend too much time on that chart because I want to get to the power of choice. And that's when we enter into Adam and Eve in the first dispensation, which is innocence. Adam and Eve in the time of innocence can be found in Genesis 2:25. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. For this day thou shalt eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. And then man chooses sin. So a lot of people ask, why did God put the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in the Garden of Eden? Wouldn't it have been easier to leave it out? That way God would have never had to worry about Adam and Eve eating of it. God didn't make puppets. He didn't want man to serve him because he didn't know any better or because he didn't have a choice. He wanted someone that would serve him and be there because they wanted to be. But when they chose sin and they chose to eat out of the knowledge, off the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the sin broke the communication with God. It's very important to remember that that is exactly what sin does. It separates us from God and it breaks our communication from God. Whoops, I didn't know that was going to go to another chart. Let me go back to the last one. I guess I just never know when those little pop-ups are going to stop. Here we go. Okay. So, the power of choice, Adam and Eve, the second chapter of Genesis restates the creation of man and woman and gives more specific details. This is a chapter that also reveals that God planted a garden east of Eden where he placed man. You know, remember when God created man, he gave him a job, and his job was to take care of the garden. And he gave him a purpose, he gave him a job, and he gave him a helper. And that's what they were there to do. And he also placed the tree of life in the Garden of Eden as well. Because of that, we don't know how long they were inside the Garden of Eden. There's no way to tell.